Alrighty, hello everyone, and welcome to another super late review, although maybe not quite as late as they usually are. I know the game came out a while ago still, but it's not like it's been months. But you probably all have already seen reviews for this by now. I hope it isn't a complete waste of your time, but I'm still going to give you my thoughts on Outriders since I just finished it. Just finished the main campaign at least, so I'm going to tell you what I thought. A big thank you to Square Enix though for sending me this game. I still can't quite believe that a big publisher like Square is like sending me stuff to do videos on. It's incredible. Thank you, thank you, thank you. However, I'm still going to be honest. I'm still going to, let you guys know exactly what I thought. So let's jump in, shall we? Yeah, this is a super professional review. I'm used to doing these. I know what I'm doing. Yeah. Okay, so Outriders, if you don't know, is one of the latest looter shooters that have hit the market since, they seem to be quite a big thing these days. You've had your Borderlands, your Destinies, your Divisions, and really, honestly, this is like if Destiny and The Division got super drunk one night and they just decided to fuck. This would be the baby. That's the only way I can describe it. It's got elements of other games in it as well, but for the most part, it really does feel like those two games combined. So if that is something that appeals to you just from the sound of that, then you're probably going to enjoy Outriders. I really gotta say, this game actually surprised me with just how fun it was. Now, of course, it did have some pretty significant server issues, especially in the immediate aftermath of its launch. It was quite difficult at times to actually play the damn thing, but eventually things calmed down and I could actually invest more time into it, but that was definitely a problem, although it seems to have improved quite a lot lately, which you expect. I don't think there's been any modern online game that has had a trouble-free launch, especially, something on this sort of scale. What I don't think helped was the fact that this was released on Game Pass, and just everyone probably at least tried it. So they might not have anticipated that there would be quite the audience for this, or just the sheer number of people trying to log on. So I can kind of understand it, but it was still frustrating when all I wanted to do was play this thing. I streamed it, and a good chunk of that stream was like just waiting on the main menu for the thing to actually log in. So that was a bummer, but thankfully I did manage to play through the whole thing, or at least, like I said, the campaign. I haven't done any of the end game stuff yet, of which there is some. I don't know too much about it, something about expeditions, but honestly, I'm looking forward to keeping on playing this game. Even if the end game content is lackluster, I think I'm still gonna have a good time, because the core gameplay, my friends, is very fun. It's super satisfying. The combat, the gunplay, the skills and abilities. From what I've seen, I've not played all of the classes. There are 4 classes I've played. I played as a Technomancer, got that to level 30. And I've played a little bit of Trickster, which was very different and very fun. But I've not touched Pyromancer or the tank class, whatever the hell it was called. Vanguard, I don't remember. So I'm looking forward to trying those out, which is a rare thing in these games. Usually I pick one class and I stick to it and I try other ones, and they're not really that enticing to me, but I really just want to keep playing this thing. It was very, very, very fun, and even better in co-op. 3-player co-op, such a fun time. I've only done that like 2 or 3 times, but it was incredibly fun with friends, as most of these games are. That's really the way that they're designed. I did play most of this solo, which was also why the server issues were kind of annoying, because I just want to play solo. I don't need to be connected to the online, right? Well, in this day and age, I guess you do. But it was still great, and yeah, so gameplay is really something I had very few issues with. Definitely recommend if you're looking for just a game where you get to shoot stuff. That really is what this boils down to. I don't know if anyone's going into this expecting an amazing story, although I will say the basic premise and some of the mysteries that the game throws at you, I was very much invested. It is repetitive. There are basically there's one kind of mission. You shoot stuff. They might dress it up a little bit where it's like, oh, you need to rescue this person, or you need to find this thing. But you go into a new area, there's various bits of cover, and there's enemies, and you gotta kill them all. And that's it. So don't go in expecting anything more than that. You will be disappointed. Luckily, I don't really need anything more than that in this kind of game. I'm absolutely fine with that, because again, luckily the combat was so fun that it didn't really get boring, even if it was absolutely very repetitive. Now, thankfully, there are a lot of different enemy types that kept things fresh. You've got your human enemies that had various different, classes and tricks up their sleeves, but also you had various alien creatures, which I gotta say, the design of some of them was really, really something special. I don't think I've ever been this impressed outside of, your traditional JRPGs with monster designs, but it really was pretty good. Also, I gotta praise the game's difficulty system, which was like world tiers, which initially I thought, oh, is this like a Diablo thing? You beat the game and then you unlock a new difficulty setting with better odds on gear drops and loot and all that stuff. And it kind of is, but it was more, as you played the game, the better you did, the more you were rewarded with harder difficulty. So, and you could always adjust it on the fly as well, which on occasion I had to, because things got really, really intense. Especially playing solo. So it's really nice that they implemented that. And I gotta say, I'm a big fan of that system. It worked really well. Speaking of the different classes and the combat in general, I was really impressed with the skills on offer and how you could really play it the way you wanted. You could customize your character to such a really well thought out degree. At least from the experience of the Technomancer class, I really focused on like toxic and inflicting toxic on enemies. Oh, and by the way, you can inflict so many fucking ailments on enemies at once. It's absolutely mental seeing all these little icons above an enemy's health bar and them just disintegrating. Especially when you add other people in playing with you. It got quite ridiculous, but so much fun. And yeah, I really invested a lot of my skill points into Toxic and the Blighted Rounds ability, and I had a great time. There was obviously a lot more I could have done. I could have played it in a very different way. I could have focused on other skills in the tree, and I'm very, very excited to actually go through and try different builds, because the one I picked was definitely viable, and yet I have a feeling that if I went a completely different direction, that would still fare pretty well. Although certain encounters, I did find myself pretty much having to rely on certain skills, like the cryo turret to slow enemies down, because I was just getting overwhelmed. But it's nice that you can swap them on the fly. You can do that, you can experiment and see what is the best course of action for any particular monster or thing that you fight. So again, I was actually very impressed. So some of the things that I definitely am not too buzzed about is, one, the map system, in my opinion, is fucking awful. You do have a very Dead Space-esque option where you can press, I think it's up on the D-pad, and it reveals like a little tracker thing that you can follow that should tell you where to go on the current quest that you're tracking. Yeah, that's really nice when it works, but on several occasions, the tracker would get caught or stuck on a previous quest that I had already done, and was still telling me to go to this place that was completely the wrong way. And, you know, that's fine and all, but the map system itself was just really hard to follow sometimes. You couldn't really tell where exactly you were on the map, other than being in a general area or zone. So many times I got lost and just had to either leave the area completely to kind of try and fix the tracker, or just fumble around until I found what I was looking for. So that could definitely use an improvement. Was not a fan of that. Sadly, I did encounter some bugs as well, although not as many as other people seem to have come across. I did, unfortunately, encounter the inventory wipe bug once, although it didn't wipe my entire inventory. It only got rid of a really cool legendary weapon that I just got, so I was pretty pissed about that. I thought they'd fixed it, but it still happened, so hopefully they'll sort that out and I can get that weapon back, because it was really good, and now I don't have it, and now I'm sad. As for the visual side of things, it is a very pretty game. You can definitely tell, though, that it is a cross-gen game. You know, it is on PS4, it is on older systems. It still looks really nice, especially some areas. Some areas kind of blew me away with how good they looked. Others, not so much. And the character models, while they looked decent most of the time, occasionally they just looked a little bit plasticky and fake, but maybe that's just the art style that they were going for. I don't know. But a very, very respectable looking game. I don't have too many complaints with the visuals. I really liked some of the gear design as well. I haven't really mentioned that, but there's some really fucking cool armor in this game, and that is a big selling point for me because I love my aesthetics. Although there isn't a transmog system of any kind, or at least not that I could figure out. So a lot of the time I was looking a little bit like just completely mismatched and not very cool or coordinated. Although my stats were really good, but yeah, I looked a bit ridiculous at times. But still, that would be nice if they added that in the future. I did also have a bug at one point during a mission where I was supposed to be able to go through a door, but the door stayed closed. And enemies were running out of the door, they were actually running through it, and yet I couldn't go through myself. So it actually took a few tries of restarting, redoing a lot of the mission, and eventually it fixed itself, but that wasn't particularly fun to have to do. Thankfully that only happened the once, but I can imagine that that would be, you know, maybe I just got lucky with that and it might have been a more widespread issue, I don't know. But it was still something that kind of annoyed me at the time. So yeah, I gotta say, I really enjoyed this. I really would recommend it to a lot of people, especially since it is on Game Pass. I think you can get Game Pass for like $1 or £1 for the first month right now, or something like that, which is great. Honestly, I would give it a try. It's absolutely more fun with friends. The story itself isn't revolutionary. It's not gonna change your fucking life. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed some of the little moments. I thought it had a lot of humor, especially from the main character, who is just a complete badass, and not the deepest of people. There's no real character arc to them. They don't have much going on, but they say some funny shit, okay? And they look cool. So I was fine with it. The supporting cast have definitely more going on in terms of character. Although, just a warning, I don't want to spoil anything, but so many fucking people die in this game. Just out of nowhere. I actually lost count of how many times it happened. I was actually more surprised when a character survived something towards the end. It was like, oh, they're still here? I totally expected them to bite the dust. So that was kind of refreshing, but also hilarious. That you could be talking to someone and suddenly they're dead, they're gone. So don't get too attached to anyone. That would be my my advice. Although I wouldn't say any of them are particularly amazing. There is a lot of world building though, which is really cool. I think that was probably the aspect of the story I enjoyed the most. Was there's a lot of lore, and this planet of Enoch I found really, really interesting learning about. So if you're into that stuff, you'll probably enjoy it too. But that's where I'm going to end this review, guys. I hope you enjoyed hearing my thoughts on this. Big thank you to Square for sending me the game. If I had to grade it out of 10, which I'm not sure these, marks or grades really say a lot. I'd rather people focus on what I said in the review than just a score, but if I had to score it, I'd probably give it a solid 7.5. I would score it higher if it didn't have some of the annoying bugs that I encountered. I really hope they iron those out eventually. That'd be great. But other than that, I really enjoyed it. I really am looking forward to playing more of it. Like I said, the endgame content I don't really know much about, so that's something that you might have to either try for yourself or listen to someone else's review for that, of which, again, I'm sure many of you have already watched or listened to many reviews of this game. Are you still watching this? Who's actually still watching this? Thank you. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. And yeah, hopefully I can do more reviews of these newer games. That'd be great. And I'm just blown away that I get the chance to do this. So let me know if you enjoyed this review, if you agree with my thoughts, if you've played it. I'd love to know what you think. Thank you for watching. Please do like the video if you've enjoyed it. That will help me out massively. And I look forward to more reviews in the future. I really am trying my best to figure out how to do these, what kind of format I want to stick with. So any feedback would be great. But in the meantime, take care everyone, stay safe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.